Think about this for a second. How many times have you shared something exciting with someone, only to feel the excitement fade away later? Maybe you talked about your goals, your relationship, or a brilliant plan you had in mind. And then, somehow, everything got messy, delayed, or just didn't work out. Sounds familiar? Here's a hard truth. The more you talk, the less you do. And that's why the most successful people in the world have one thing in common: they know when to speak and when to stay silent. In a world where oversharing has become a trend, keeping your personal life private is a rare superpower. There's a powerful rule successful people live by. Keep it private until it's permanent. It's not about being secretive. It's about protecting your energy, your focus, and your peace. Because the moment you open the door to outside opinions, judgments, and jealous eyes, you also open the door to doubts, distractions, and disappointment. And most of the time, it doesn't come from strangers. It comes from the people closest to you. Imagine planting a seed. You don't dig it up every day to show everyone it's growing, do you? No, you water it, give it sunlight, protect it from pests, and let it grow silently until one day it becomes a beautiful tree. That's exactly how your dreams, goals, relationships, and success should grow quietly, patiently, and away from unnecessary attention. This video is not just another motivational talk. This is your blueprint to mental peace, emotional stability, and powerful progress. Today, we'll explore 6 areas of your life that you must protect like a treasure. Areas you must keep private until they are strong, unshakable, and permanent. Because when you protect what matters, you prevent it from breaking. So, if you've ever wondered why some of your plans never work out, or why your excitement fades too quickly, this video will give you the real answers. Stay with us until the end. This might just be the turning point you never knew you needed. 1. Your success. Success is not just about achievements, awards, or applause. It's about the silent battles you fight when no one is watching. It's about how many times you've fallen and still have the courage to rise again. But here's the thing that most people don't understand. Success needs silence to grow. And if you expose it too early, it might never become what it was meant to be. You see, when you're building your success, it's like constructing a house from the ground up. Every brick matters. Every mistake is a lesson. Every delay tests your patience. But what if you started inviting people to see the house when it's only half built? What if you started showing off the blueprint before the foundation is even dry? What do you think will happen? People will give you opinions. Some will laugh. Some will criticize. Some will pretend to cheer for you, while secretly hoping you fail. That's the reality. Not everyone around you is happy for you. Some people are only happy when you're on the same level as them. The moment you start to rise, they feel threatened. And that's exactly why your journey to success should be your sacred space. The more you talk about your dreams, the more you invite negative energy. Even if people don't say it to your face, their energy, their jealousy, their doubts can silently influence your mindset. You may start questioning yourself. Am I good enough? What if they're right? What if I fail? And just like that, your passion begins to fade. Here's something even more dangerous. Premature praise. When you talk too much about your progress, people start praising you before you even finish. And that praise can make you feel like you've already arrived even when you're still halfway up the mountain. You slow down. You relax. You lose the hunger that got you started in the first place. And in the end, you stop chasing your true potential. But when you move in silence, something magical happens. You stay focused. You stay hungry. You build without distraction. You make mistakes in private, learn from them, and grow stronger. There's no pressure to impress. There's only the drive to improve. Think of some of the most powerful people in the world: Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, or Steve Jobs. They didn't post every single step of their success on social media. They worked silently. They let their success make the noise. And when the time was right, the world stood up and noticed. Because permanent success doesn't need a microphone, it needs discipline. Let's also talk about something that many people overlook: the danger of speaking before doing. When you say you're going to do something big, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical that gets released when you actually accomplish it. That means, even if you haven't done anything yet, just saying it makes you feel accomplished. And that feeling is dangerous, because it tricks your mind into believing you've already won, which lowers your motivation to actually do the work. That's why so many people say, "I'm going to start a business," or "I'll become a millionaire by 30, and then years pass and nothing happens. They already enjoyed the feeling of success without the pain of work. And the more people they told, the more they felt accountable to the fantasy, not the reality. Your success doesn't need to be broadcasted like a TV show. You don't need to post every win on Instagram or talk about every deal you're working on. Because not every ear deserves your vision. Not every eye deserves to see your progress. Some people will support you only as long as you're struggling. The moment you start winning, their true colors come out. They become distant, cold, and even toxic. Protect your success by nurturing it like a newborn. You don't take a baby outside every day to show it off, do you? You keep it safe. You keep it warm. You protect it until it's strong enough to face the world. Do the same with your goals. And here's another truth. When you keep your success private, you create a deep sense of self-trust. You no longer depend on others' approval to feel proud. You become your own biggest cheerleader. You know your worth, even when no one is clapping. And that confidence, that's unshakable, because it's not built on likes or validation. It's built on real effort, real progress, and real belief. One of the strongest moves you can make is to work in silence and shock them with results. Don't argue, don't explain, don't announce. Just do. Let your success speak when it's ready, not before. People respect what's already built, not what's being planned. They trust what they can see, not what they hear in theory. So give them something undeniable. Let your work be so strong, so solid, and so consistent that no one can question your value. To anyone listening right now, if you're building something big, keep going, but keep it quiet. Let the world wonder. Let them guess. Let them think you disappeared. And then, one day, show up with results so powerful they can't ignore you. Remember, silence isn't weakness, it's protection. Protect your purpose. Guard your grind. And always, always remember, keep it private until it's permanent. 2. Your love life. Love is a beautiful thing. It's one of the most powerful forces in the world. It can heal, it can inspire, and it can completely transform your life. But here's something most people don't talk about: love, when exposed too early, can also be destroyed. That's why your love life should be one of the most protected parts of your world, especially in its early stages. In today's world, it's become normal to post everything on social media, from date nights to relationship anniversaries to couple selfies with dramatic captions. But let's pause and think, is that love or is that performance? Is it connection or is it a craving for likes, comments, and virtual applause? When you truly love someone, your focus should be on building the bond, not broadcasting it. Because real love is delicate in the beginning. It needs time, trust, and patience to grow. And when you start sharing every detail with the world, or worse, seeking validation from outsiders, you expose that relationship to judgment, gossip, and jealousy. Not everyone wants to see you happy. It's a harsh truth. Some people might smile to your face, but secretly wait for cracks in your love story. They watch your posts, read between the lines, and make silent judgments. And the worst part? Their energy, even if they never say a word, can creep into your relationship like poison. Have you ever noticed how some of the strongest couples you know are also the quietest? They don't need to prove anything to anyone. They don't make public displays of love because their connection runs deep, beyond the screen. Their love is private, protected, and permanent. That's not a coincidence. That's wisdom. When you keep your love life private, you create a safe space for the relationship to grow. You both get the chance to understand each other without pressure. You make mistakes, learn together, fight, forgive, and evolve, all without outsiders feeding into your story. That kind of privacy builds a strong foundation. But when every argument becomes a status update, or every milestone becomes a post, you're no longer nurturing a relationship, you're managing an image. You start making decisions based on what people might think, not what you truly feel. That's when love becomes fragile. That's when trust begins to crack. Another danger is inviting too many opinions. You tell your friends, your cousins, maybe even your followers about a problem you're facing in the relationship. They all start giving you advice, some well-meaning, some toxic. And suddenly, you're confused. Your personal emotions are tangled in other people's perspectives. What was once between two hearts becomes a committee discussion. And love doesn't survive in a crowd. It survives in connection. Privacy also strengthens trust between partners. When your partner knows that you're not using the relationship as a public trophy, they feel respected. They know you're committed to the bond, not the attention. And that builds emotional security, something more valuable than flowers, gifts, or grand gestures. Some people might argue, but I'm proud of my partner. I want to show them off. And that's fine once the relationship is strong, once it's been tested, once you've survived the storms and grown deeper roots. Then, if you choose to share moments, it comes from strength, not insecurity. There's a big difference between hiding someone and protecting someone. Here's another angle. Relationships go through phases. Not every phase is picture perfect. There are struggles, misunderstandings, emotional lows. And when your love life is public, people notice the shifts. They read into your silence. They watch your stories to guess what's going wrong. And even if you don't post anything, your absence becomes a conversation. Did they break up? Why aren't they posting together? Suddenly, your private struggle becomes public entertainment. Do you really want that? Or do you want a space where your relationship can breathe, heal, and grow without the weight of outside curiosity? Now let's go deeper. Love is not just about romance, it's also about vulnerability. When you truly open up to someone, you're showing them your fears, your past, your dreams, your raw self. That kind of vulnerability deserves privacy. It's sacred. You don't owe anyone a front row seat to that. Not even your best friend. Some things are meant to be kept between hearts, not shared through hashtags. Think of it this way. When you're building a relationship, you're creating a world. Would you leave the doors open for just anyone to walk in, criticize the furniture, comment on the paint, and question your choices? No, you'd protect that space. You'd lock the door, close the curtains, and let the magic happen inside. Love deserves that same level of protection. And if you're single, here's a reminder for you too. Don't talk about the type of person you want, the perfect relationship you're dreaming of, or the standards you've set to everyone. Because the more you talk, the more others project their doubts, mock your hopes, or pretend to match your expectations just to win your attention. Move in silence. Let love find you quietly. Let your heart choose, not the noise around you. To anyone in love right now, treasure it. Guard it. You don't have to post every moment. You don't have to announce every feeling. Let your actions speak. Let your loyalty shine in private. Let your connection grow in silence. Because at the end of the day, real love doesn't need an audience. It needs commitment. And when it becomes permanent, when it's proven, when it's unshakable, then you can share it, not for validation, but for celebration. So remember this, from the deepest part of your soul, keep your love life private until it's permanent. Not secret, not hidden, just protected like all priceless things are. 3. Your planning strategies. Success doesn't come from luck. It comes from solid planning, sharp strategies, and silent moves. But in today's loud world, most people make one big mistake. They announce their plans before they act. And that one mistake can destroy everything before it even begins. You might feel excited after building a powerful idea. Maybe you've designed a new business plan, thought of a unique content strategy, created a life-changing goal, or mapped out your financial freedom. It's natural to want to share it with someone, friends, family, or even online followers. After all, it feels good to talk about dreams, doesn't it? But here's the truth. The more you talk about your plans, the more power you lose. You shift energy from doing to discussing, from executing to explaining. And slowly, the fire that burned inside you starts cooling down. Not because the plan was weak, but because you exposed it too soon. There's an old saying, don't tell people your plans, show them your results. That wisdom has power. Because not every ear that hears your plan is filled with good intentions. Not every listener is rooting for you. Some are silently judging, some are mocking, and some are quietly copying. And worst of all, some are pretending to support you just to keep you distracted. When your planning is public, it becomes vulnerable. People start giving their opinions. That won't work. You're thinking too big. Are you sure that's for you? These words don't always sound like criticism sometimes. They come in the form of concern or advice. But their impact is real. They create doubt, fear, and hesitation. And the moment you hesitate, you lose momentum. Now, imagine the opposite. Imagine building your plan in silence. You wake up early, write down your vision, break it into small goals, research, adjust, and work quietly. No outside pressure, no unnecessary questions, no distractions, just you and your mission. That's when magic happens. That's when your focus turns into results. One reason silence is powerful is because it keeps your mental clarity intact. When you talk too much about your strategy, your mind gets cluttered with responses, reactions, and other people's energy. But when you move silently, your thoughts remain sharp. Your actions stay aligned. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're just trying to improve. Let's also talk about originality. When you share your ideas too soon, you risk someone else running with it faster than you. In business, timing is everything. An idea shared too early can be stolen, modified, or launched by someone else who has more resources or fewer distractions. It doesn't matter if you thought of it first. The world remembers who finished first, not who started. Think about every legendary innovator from Steve Jobs to Elon Musk. Their strategies were never loud. Apple's biggest product launches were surprises. Tesla's next move is rarely predicted. Why? Because they understand something most people ignore. Strategies don't need attention. They need execution. Even in your personal life, planning is sacred. Suppose you're planning to move to a new city, leave your job, change your career, or launch a passion project. The more people you tell, the more anxiety you attract. Suddenly, everyone has a comment. Is that smart? Isn't that risky? Why now? These questions can shake your belief system if you're not mentally armored. And if you start changing your plan based on other people's opinions, you'll end up living their version of your life, not yours. Also, silence gives you space to fail in peace. Let's be honest, not every strategy works. Some plans fail, some ideas crash. But when no one knows what you were trying, no one knows you failed. That gives you the freedom to learn, pivot, and restart without carrying the weight of judgment. Failure becomes a lesson, not a headline. And when the plan finally works, when your business grows, when your dream comes true, when your life starts changing, you don't need to explain how. Your results speak for themselves. And that's a moment no words can match. The silence you carried turns into strength. The patience you practiced turns into pride. Let's also look at this from a psychological angle. When you keep your plans private, your brain stays goal-oriented. It's focused on the finish line. But when you speak about your plans and receive praise before achieving them, your brain gets a false sense of accomplishment. That satisfaction can reduce your drive. You feel like you've done something even when you haven't. That's why so many dreams die in the talking stage. They never reach the doing stage. So, what should you do? Start planning in a notebook, not on a public post. Share only with people who are invested in your growth, your mentor, coach, or someone you deeply trust. Make your environment distraction-free. Let your strategies breathe in silence. Break your plan into actionable steps. Focus on systems, not just goals. And most importantly, move quietly, because real winners don't reveal their playbook. They don't need to. They trust their work, their patience, and their path. And remember, people love to see results, but they rarely understand the process. So don't expect them to get excited about your plan the way you do. It's your dream, not theirs. It's your strategy, not theirs. Guard it like a treasure map because that's what it is. And to anyone listening right now, if you've got a vision, protect it. If you've got a strategy, guard it. If you've got a plan, work on it quietly, daily, patiently. And when it's ready, unleash it like a thunderstorm. By then, you won't need to convince anyone. Your results will speak louder than your words ever could. Until then, trust the power of silence, and never forget this one rule. Keep your plans private until they become permanent. 4. Your income sources. Money is personal, it's private, it's powerful. And it's something you should never fully explain to anyone, not how much you make, not where you earn from, and definitely not how many income streams you have. Because the moment you expose your sources of income, you invite questions, judgments, expectations, and sometimes envy. We live in a time where people are obsessed with showcasing wealth. Social media has become a gallery of luxury new cars, vacations, paychecks, brand deals, side hustles. But behind many of those pictures is a deep desire to feel enough. The problem is, when you start showcasing how much you earn or where your money comes from, you unintentionally trigger two things: competition and curiosity. And neither of those things helps you grow. Let's be clear, there's nothing wrong with being proud of your hustle. You work hard. You deserve everything you earn. But sharing the how too early or too often can do more harm than good. Because here's a truth most people overlook. Money moves quietly. Real wealth is built in silence. When people know where your money comes from, they start making calculations. They assume things. They compare themselves to you. And worst of all, some start depending on you not because they care, but because they want access to what you have. Suddenly, you're not just managing your income, you're managing people's expectations. You might find yourself hearing things like, "You're earning well now. Can't you help with this?" Or, "You must be doing great. Why don't you invest in this?" Or even worse, "Oh, must be nice. I wish I had it like you." And just like that, your financial freedom becomes someone else's emotional leverage. But the most dangerous part? When people get too familiar with your income structure, some may try to replicate it without understanding the risk. Maybe you started a business, or invested in crypto, or built a passive income stream. And because you casually mentioned it, others jump in blindly, hoping for the same results. If they fail, they might blame you. If they succeed, they might outshine you. Either way, you lose control of what you quietly built. That's why successful people rarely talk about how many sources of income they have. They let their lifestyle whisper it, not their mouth. Here's another truth. The moment people know how you make your money, they start watching your every move. They analyze your spending. They expect you to live a certain way. And when you don't match their expectations, they judge. He says he earns a lot, but he still dresses simple. She runs a business but doesn't even upgrade her phone. They don't see your savings, your investments, your future plans. They only see what they want to see, and they create stories around it. But when you stay silent, you stay in control. You can earn in peace. You can invest without pressure. You can build more streams of income without announcing it. You don't owe anyone a financial report on your life. Your bank account isn't a community discussion. It's your effort, your discipline, your sacrifice, and that deserves protection. Let's take a moment to talk about multiple income sources. In today's world, having more than one way to earn money is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Whether it's a 9-to-5 job, freelancing, investing, real estate, YouTube, e-commerce, or even royalties, smart people are always thinking of diversification. But you don't need to discuss these with everyone. Because the more people know, the more questions they ask. And every question distracts you from the grind. Building income streams takes time. Often your side hustle might not make a single dollar for months. Your investments may go through losses. Your freelance gigs might get rejected. And when people know what you're working on, they start watching your results too early. If you don't succeed fast, they label it as a failure. That judgment can be emotionally exhausting. But if no one knows, you're free. Free to learn. Free to fail. Free to adjust. And when the income finally flows, you can enjoy it with peace, not with pressure. Here's something powerful to remember. Money is energy, and energy is safest when it's protected. If you constantly talk about your income, you dilute the energy that helped you earn it. You turn something sacred into something social. And over time, the joy of earning becomes the stress of managing perceptions. Silence also builds mystery, and mystery builds power. When people can't figure out how you're winning, they respect you more. They stop asking too many questions. They start minding their own business. That's how leaders move. Quietly, decisively, consistently. Now let's flip the script. What should you do instead? Work on your income sources privately. Let your progress stay inside your notebook, not on your newsfeed. Share only with your financial advisor or someone who mentors you, not with cousins, coworkers, or curious neighbors. Celebrate in silence. Build wealth that speaks through your stability, not your speech. Also, reinvest in yourself. Use your income not to impress others, but to improve your skills. Build your mindset and expand your knowledge. Buy books, take courses, learn about money management. The more you learn, the more you earn, but keep it all under the radar. And finally, build a life that feels rich, not one that just looks rich. That means having peace of mind, time freedom, healthy boundaries, and control over your life. These things don't need flashy proof. They need quiet consistency. To anyone listening right now, protect your income like you protect your passwords. Guard it like your reputation. Because in a world where people value appearance more than effort, your financial truth should stay hidden until it's unshakable. You don't need to post paychecks. You don't need to break down your side hustle earnings. Let them wonder. Let them guess. Let them talk. And one day, when your lifestyle speaks louder than words, when your freedom becomes visible, when your wealth becomes permanent, you'll smile knowing that your silence built an empire no noise ever could. So remember this always. Your income is your business. Keep it private until it's permanent. 5. Your happiness. Happiness, it's what we all chase. We look for it in moments, in people, in achievements, in dreams. But the more we try to show how happy we are to the world, the less real that happiness becomes. Because real happiness doesn't need proof. It doesn't need permission. It doesn't even need applause. Real happiness is quiet. And if you want to protect your peace, you must learn this one truth. Keep your happiness private until it's permanent. Let's be honest. In today's digital world, people are obsessed with showing how happy they are. Birthday celebrations, vacations, couple goals, friend nights, family reunions, all captured, filtered, and posted. It may look like joy, but more often than not, it's a performance, a mask, a highlight reel of moments that are sometimes more staged than lived. And in this race to show happiness, people slowly forget how to feel it. Here's something most don't realize. The more you expose your happiness, the more you invite silent threats to it. Yes, threats. Because not everyone wants to see you truly happy. It sounds harsh, but it's true. Some people can't stand your peace because they haven't found theirs. Your smile reminds them of what they lack. And instead of being inspired, they become envious. They won't say it out loud. They'll like your posts, comment with hearts and emojis, maybe even message you something sweet. But deep down, some of them are thinking, why not me? And that silent envy, it has energy, it travels, and it can reach you in ways you won't even notice in the form of unexpected conflicts, emotional confusion, or a sudden change in how people treat you. That's why the wisest people choose to protect their joy. They laugh fully, but not publicly. They celebrate deeply, but not loudly. They build beautiful memories with the people they love, but they don't turn it into a show. Because they know that happiness is not a trophy, it's a treasure, and treasures are always guarded. Let's go deeper. Have you ever had a truly peaceful day? No drama, no pressure, just calm. Maybe you woke up early, had your favorite coffee, listened to music, or had a beautiful talk with someone you love. That kind of happiness is so pure, so simple. But the moment you start trying to share it, snap a photo, write a caption, think of how others will respond, you interrupt the very peace you were enjoying. That's the paradox. The moment you try to prove your happiness, you lose it. You shift from being present to being performative. And happiness, at its core, lives only in the present. Another reason to keep your happiness private? Protection from sabotage. Sadly, some people will intentionally try to disturb your joy. They'll plant doubts in your mind. They'll question your peace. Are you really that happy? It's too good to be true. Just wait, things always fall apart. And if you're not careful, those words get into your head. You start doubting your own emotions. You start expecting things to go wrong. And that expectation becomes your reality. It's not that you should never share joy, but you should know when and with whom. True happiness is shared in safe spaces with people who celebrate you in silence, not just in public. People who don't need your smile to prove theirs. People who pray for your peace behind your back. That kind of support system is rare, and when you find it, you cherish it privately. Let's also talk about social comparison. When you constantly show your happiness, you unknowingly put pressure on others. Maybe your friend is going through a hard time. Maybe your sibling is struggling. Maybe someone in your circle is fighting a battle you can't see. And your public display of joy, no matter how innocent, feels like a reminder of what they lack. Again, that doesn't mean you should hide your life, but it means being mindful. Everyone is fighting something. Your happiness doesn't have to become someone else's pain. When you keep it private, you honor not only your peace, but others' healing too. Now there's another powerful reason to protect your happiness, so you can enjoy it fully. When you keep a moment to yourself, it becomes sacred. When no one else knows what made you smile that day, it becomes personal. You feel connected to yourself in a deeper way, and over time, you begin to build inner joy that doesn't depend on attention. You realize that you can be happy without an audience, that you don't need validation to feel fulfilled, that you don't need to explain your peace, you just need to protect it. Let me give you a practical example. Suppose you've started healing from past trauma. You've been meditating, going to therapy, journaling, cutting out toxic relationships. Slowly, you feel lighter. You sleep better. You feel like yourself again. That is deep happiness. But if you run to share it before the healing is complete, you open the door to questions. What changed? Are you sure you're okay? I thought you were struggling. And those questions can reopen wounds you were just beginning to close. Healing, like happiness, deserves protection. Not silence out of shame, but silence out of strength. Happiness is not just about moments. It's a mindset. It's a way of seeing life. And when that mindset becomes strong, stable, and permanent, then you don't fear sharing it. Because by then, you've built enough resilience to handle the noise. Until then, stay quiet. Laugh in your room, dance in your kitchen. Cry tears of joy with someone you trust. Watch the sunrise alone. Feel the rain on your skin without a filter. These are the moments that truly shape a joyful life. And when you do speak of your happiness, let it be from overflow, not for attention. So, to everyone listening right now, let me say this with love. You deserve to be happy. You deserve peace. You deserve quiet mornings, belly laughs, and heart-deep joy. But you also deserve to protect those gifts from the noise of the world. So choose to guard your joy. Let it grow quietly, like a flower in the wild, untouched, undisturbed, and truly yours. Because in the end, your happiness is not a performance. It's a privilege. Keep it private until it's permanent. 6. Your dreams' goals. Your dreams are your soul's whisper. They come from your heart, not from the noise of the world. They are born in silence, in sleepless nights, in deep thoughts that you rarely speak out loud. But the tragedy is most dreams don't die because they're impossible. They die because we talk about them too soon, to the wrong people, with the wrong energy. That's why, if there's one area in your life that deserves the highest level of privacy, it's your dreams and goals. You may dream of becoming a writer, a musician, a business owner, an innovator, a change maker. Whatever it is, that dream is personal. It's yours. It's meant to live inside you, to be nurtured and fed in the quiet, away from public opinion and premature judgment. But most people make the mistake of announcing their dreams before they've even taken the first step. They start telling friends, coworkers, even distant relatives, "I'm going to start a company. I'm writing a book. I'm quitting my job soon. I'll be rich before 30. And what happens next? The world starts responding and not always in support. Some will laugh. Some will doubt. Some will pretend to be happy for you while secretly hoping you fail. Suddenly, your dream, once pure and powerful, becomes polluted with voices that have no idea what it truly means to you. Your vision starts to shrink under the weight of their questions. Are you sure? Is that realistic? What if it doesn't work? And slowly, you start questioning yourself. You begin to shrink your goals to make others more comfortable. You lose momentum before you even begin. You see, dreams are fragile in the beginning, like tiny flames. And sharing them with the wrong people is like exposing that flame to strong winds. It flickers, it struggles. Sometimes it goes out. That's why the most successful people in the world are the quietest in the beginning. They protect their goals like newborns, feeding them silently, strengthening them privately, building the foundation before they build the frame. And when it's strong enough, they let the world see it, not before. Another danger of announcing your goals too early is the illusion of progress. Talking about a goal can actually make you feel like you've done something even when you haven't. That early excitement, the praise you get for just having ambition, tricks your brain into thinking you've achieved more than you really have. And once that dopamine wears off, you're left with no progress, just words. That's why silence is your weapon. It keeps your focus sharp. It keeps your energy contained. It creates an internal pressure to act not to impress others, but to fulfill your own destiny. Think about someone climbing a mountain. They don't shout from the bottom, "I'm going to the top." They start climbing, quietly, step by step. And one day, they post a photo from the peak. That's what your dream deserves. Not announcements, achievements. But let's go even deeper. Why is it so important to keep dreams private? Because not everyone sees what you see. Your dream was not downloaded into anyone else's soul. Only you feel it the way you do. Others may never understand the depth of your desire. They may never grasp the fire that keeps you up at night. And they're not supposed to. That's why you must walk your path, not seek approval for it. When you protect your dream, you protect your identity. You honor your uniqueness. You avoid dilution. Because every time you explain your dream to someone who doesn't get it, you water it down a little more. You start using words that make it acceptable to them. And eventually, you forget what the dream even meant to you. Privacy also allows you to move without pressure. When you're not constantly updating others, you're free to fail, to pivot, to pause. You're free to learn, and learning in private is powerful because it's honest. You're not performing. You're not protecting your ego. You're just improving, one silent step at a time. Let's say you want to launch a business. If no one knows, you can test, make mistakes, close things down, restart all without judgment. But if everyone knows your plan and you fail, suddenly it's a story, a punchline, something you have to explain or defend, and that pressure alone kills the joy of the journey. Your dreams should feel safe. They should be something you run to, not something you have to protect from opinions, criticisms, or premature questions. Let your dreams grow roots before they grow branches. Let them become strong inside you before you present them outside. So what does this mean in real life? It means journaling instead of posting. It means praying over your goals instead of announcing them. It means taking action in silence and letting success speak for you when it's ready. It means learning to smile quietly when things go right, because you know how much work went into it, even if no one else does. And here's the most beautiful part: when your dream finally becomes reality, The world won't ask for your explanation. They'll see the result and say, "Wow, how did you do that?" And you'll smile, knowing that the dream lived in silence. But the success will echo forever. To those who dream big, don't give up. Don't shrink your vision to fit other people's comfort zones. Don't let the fear of judgment stop your first step. But most importantly, don't talk too much. Work in silence. Walk with confidence. Build in secret. Because your dream deserves more than just attention. It deserves completion. So always remember, from the depths of your heart, keep your dreams and goals private until they become permanent. So, loving listeners, in a world that celebrates noise, choose silence. In a world that seeks attention, choose intention. Protect your journey. Guard your peace. And remember, the most powerful moves are made quietly. Keep it private until it's strong, stable, and unstoppable. Thanks for staying till the end. This is Mind-Blowing Motive, where your heart finds strength and your mind finds clarity. If this touched you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We've got more coming. Stay tuned and stay silent till it's permanent.